playing this game is different to almost anything else I've played so far. From what I've been told, most people don't like it because the combat is a bit finicky, but I don't think the combat is the focus. People tend to rush through games trying to just complete objectives as fast as possible in efficient ways. But that tends to remove the fun sometimes. You can over-engineer the fun out of a game by finding these efficient methods. And this game kind of does the reverse. Once you've got a general handle of the controls, and you start playing efficiently, killing enemies quickly in order and dodging before you even get hit. Once all of that clicks, your efficient play becomes the most fun way to play. So, just by playing better and learning how to be better, and finding these ways to play better, you're not taking the fun out, you're multiplying it. And that's honestly an achievement in itself. Very few games can do that. It's like Minecraft, when you over-engineer a redstone build, that's fun. But when you're trying to grind loot and you find this one hyper-specific way to do it in Borderlands, half the time it's just 30 seconds of running, 15 seconds of killing a boss, and reloading the whole thing. Oftentimes much more running, and a much quicker boss kill if you've got enough damage. This game, the way that leveling works here is that it just increases the raw stats of your bird by 1 blip. But that's all of them. So if you're level 10, you basically got a full level in everything, guaranteed. And then on top of that, you can add all the other mutagens to buff specific aspects. But if you get one specific bird, I think it's called the warbird, that has almost max stats. So combine that with a high general level and you're gonna have high stats anyway. So you won't even need the mutagens. It's not just that though. It's the in-between. This game can genuinely be enjoyable just walking around. Well, not walking, flying around. But it's like Red Dead Redemption in that sense. You can ignore the story and just exist in the moment and still enjoy it. Not many games can pull that off. Minecraft, again, one of the few that does it. So would Terraria if you play it in that way, I guess. If you're playing adventure maps as well. From what I've seen, only about 10% of the actual player base who've tried the game are actually going out of their way to play it. And even then, somewhere between 0.5% and 1% are even bothering to finish it. It's like a lot of people just go to the end content and then stay there, ignoring everything else. I've started with chapter 1 and I've already gotten a dozen achievements that are considered rare because nobody's tried it. Game Pass kinda screwed it over because tons of people picked it up on Game Pass and dropped it a day later. But if they had put in another half an hour or so, I think they'd have found some enjoyment. If it's not for them, fair enough. But this game has to be enjoyed in a different way to most. You're not gonna find Call of Duty kids playing this. This guy is Thomas Seller. He is the developer, the solo dev, the one guy who put this whole game together. And he's also worked on another one called Bulwark, I think. Falconeer Chronicles Bulwark Evolution, if I got that right. And yeah, this game is a tale of self-made success. Well, the story around it anyway. And while Game Pass kinda screwed over the achievements, partnering with Microsoft and Xbox definitely helped him grow as a, well, indie dev. Is published under Microsoft and published under Game Pass now. So while most people are going to be playing his game for free, then dropping it after an hour or two, those who genuinely stick around and enjoy it are going to find a different kind of fun. Because, as I've said, you're not going to expect someone who's grown up on TikTok and matches of Call of Duty with instant respawns and whatnot. You're going to find someone with patience, with the want and drive to view this game as artwork instead of just a vessel of entertainment. It's not a bunch of short bursts of adrenaline. It's general satisfaction. And the dogfights, yeah, they're great. And the races, yeah, they are pretty intense. And we'll be honest, when I messed up a few of them, I got a bit mad. And I was satisfied once I beat them all. But that's not the main draw. That's part of it. That's what's there. It's content in the game. But the main draw is the rest of it. Just the flying itself. Just being in this world. And if you try it out, you'll see what I mean. You'll also, if you want to unlock the different birds, you'll have to beat all these races. But even then, they're not that difficult if you max out your agility and speed. You just have to run them a couple of times, maybe 4 or 5, to get the actual path down. There are a couple turns that really screw you over, but even then, as you'll see, you don't have to get a perfect run to finish it. And that's what I like, the game doesn't demand perfection. All it demands is the time to fix a couple mistakes. You don't have to fix every single one. Just learn how to recover like that. You can make a couple mistakes and still win. It's ironic because the barrier to entry for this game isn't skill. It isn't even being able to, like, engage in aerial combat. You don't even have to be good at ace games in order to enjoy this. You just have to be willing to change your perspective and appreciate this game for what it is, and not for what you want it to be. I've had some of the best moments just flying around, just venturing the open sea, calmly drifting around. Sometimes I have a podcast on in the background, or an Asmongold video. But that's besides the point. I'm still enjoying the game. And sure, that's frustrating. But I could recover, and I still won it. This one specifically, this race, took about maybe 10, maybe 15 attempts. So yeah, if you're stubborn like me and don't want to get a bunch of upgrades to cheese it, you can still win. You just have to be good. Or try it enough to eventually, random chance, win. Because I do one part of the course flawlessly every time, but then another part I'd mess up. So eventually, if you can do one part good and one part bad, you have to get that 50-50 on all of the parts, and you'll eventually be good at them all. But it's that random chance on doing that, and even then, you can just recover on a couple mistakes and be fine. Look, here, that's a massive mistake. I had to full on turn around and catch that gate, but I still Got it. Even there, banged my head. But as you'll see, I was just fast enough at the beginning to make up for all this loss of time at the end. Just to add a couple final thoughts. The combat in this game can be a bit difficult if you're under-leveled, let's say. For example, your damage. If you're not dealing enough damage to the ships and the airships, oftentimes you're going to run out of ammo before you can even finish one of them, so you can't replenish your ammo, leading to you having to retreat and then reset the whole encounter. But that was fixed if you use pyropods, the basically rocket launchers. So plenty of the issues from early reviews have been addressed. It's just some would say it's a little too late. But for me, my experience has been great so far. I've not got any negative criticism yet, but let's see if that changes in the near future.